I'm Sam Rashley, and I am doing an explanation of my tank project, the the oh so famous tank project. So it's designated the Wood Tank Mark II Mod 2. Why it's designated the Wood Tank Mark II Mod 2 is first because it's made of wood, obviously. Second, because the Mark I version was unstable and expensive. Honestly, it wasn't really to meeting production needs. Kind of, I was getting a bit, what's the word? A bit fictitious. That I'm probably using that wrong. And so the Mark II Mod 2, the main changes in structural design is I've reduced it from a 3-person to a 1 to 3-person, depending on loadout. If you want to go for a kind of, I'm not gonna say weaponized because I'm mainly talking about like water cannons and stuff like that. Sorry. I mean, if you wanted to do that, that would probably be 2 to 3 people. But if you're just towing stuff or just going on a trip, it's 1 person in there basically. Just kind of like the old Italian tanks. They weren't that good though, so don't equate this to an Italian tank. So the changes would be narrower. I probably already said this. Narrower hull. Sorry. Narrower hull. A change in suspension. See, suspension has been very, very debated in my designs since I started, because I was originally gonna start out on the suspension of, kind of inspired by the Panzer 38T, which was a Czech medium tank used in the German army in World War II. See, how it uses its suspension is it would have a drive wheel at the front. This is a change in my design. My design would have the drive sprocket at the back. Two wheels to keep off the slack on the top, and 4 big wheels on the bottom. See, this is kind of a merging of the Christie suspension and the regular Panzer suspension that the Germans used in World War II. Not the interleave rope wheels, the Panzer 3 and 4, that kind of stuff. So I decided not to go with this design, even though it would be a little more efficient, I think. It would be a little more efficient, but I would have to custom make the wheels. And I decided that was not cost effective because I don't know how to make wheels, and I have to buy like rubber and stuff like that. That wouldn't be cost effective or probably effective. It would probably break down. What I decided to go with was the Panzer 3 suspension, which is wheels lining the bottom, a bunch of them. Drive sprocket at the back. This is at the front. Mine would be at the back. Regular wheel at the front, and slack wheels at the top. I don't know what those are called. Forgive me. Other than differences from the Panzer 3 suspension to my suspension would be, see how the Panzer 3 is kind of, the wheels are kind of attached onto the bottom of the hull a little bit, the bottom half. Mine would be attached to a vertical bar, or not a vertical, a horizontal bar, which would be attached to the kind of center of the vehicle. What this would do for suspension is it would decrease it. It would decrease suspension activity definitely quite a lot, but I'll experiment with it. This is the very first iteration that I'm actually going to build. And so, yeah. I was also planning on adding side skirts. Side skirts being mostly for, like, I don't know what you'd... See, this vehicle really isn't meant to see very much combat, being as it's made of wood, but side skirts, they're mainly to keep like dirt and stuff from getting out of the suspension, like small rocks, but like mainly they're aesthetic, to be honest. So if I don't have enough money or anything like that, I probably won't add them, but expect to see them on there. See, here, let's see the hull and crew layout. So basically, my old design, the Mark I, had flat top. See, my new design has a kind of decrease in height after the crew compartment, so I don't waste materials. So this is the very, very quickly and badly drawn version of the tank. Cross section, side view. So back here would be the drive motor. I'm planning on using some 1/3 horsepower, geared down of course, 1/3 horsepower kind of not spinning wheel, like pottery wheel motors that I'm getting from Mr. Harding. He's awesome. I love Mr. Harding. He's amazing. Hooked up to 2 car batteries. Where I'm going to get the car batteries, I'm not sure. Maybe I'll go dumpster diving somewhere. I don't know. And then connect it up to a resistor loop so I can control the speed and stuff like that. This would all be in the decrease height area, and then there would be a wall just in case the engines decide to destroy themselves spectacularly. The pilot would not be harmed. Hopefully. I mean, shrapnel. This is probably going to be like 10 millimeters thick, maybe not sloped at all. So if like the motor decides to go psycho and destroy everything, I don't know, maybe shrapnel would make it in here, but the chair will also protect from that. Past this is the crew compartment. It would be kind of small. This is a very small person. Like the real person would probably have their head up here, kind of sitting down. Like that's very bad, but the chair would also, it's small. See, it's very small and cramped. The person would put their feet up on here, up on this side panel, like kind of like in a fetal position, and they'd either see out a cupola, I'm not sure, or a viewing port here. See, I'm not sure whether I should add the viewing port or the cupola. The cupola would cost more, but it would be nicer, and there could be a hatch on the top where you could poke your head out, like say hello to everybody. But a viewing port here would be more easy access, and you wouldn't have to stick your head up, but then I couldn't add the doors to get out. Speaking of doors to get out, I could either add a hatch up on the top where you could climb out, or doors on the front where you could kind of like scrunch your way out. I don't know. And then on both sides would be switches and like levers to kind of control the speed and direction of the motor. So because it's a tracked vehicle, it can't steer like a wheeled vehicle. It's basically, it has, for all intents and purposes, has 2 wheels, so you can't really steer like a normal car when you only have 2 wheels. The tracks are actually kind of interesting. I was planning on using extension roller chain, which is roller chain, like if you have your normal roller chain link, it's like that, but with like tabs on the side with holes in them so you can drill wood. Yeah, I was planning on using extension roller chain with wood slats and rubber on the bottom of the wood slats, and that would be the track, and it's very expensive, but I think it'll be worth it. On the back here would be kind of the multi-purpose area. This is open top, so you could either put baggage, maybe a couple extra seats if you wanted to go on a trip with friends. I was thinking of maybe putting solar panels so you could recharge on the move, so you wouldn't have to go and refuel yourself. If you're going off-road, I don't know why you'd be doing that, but, you know, a man can dream. Or maybe, I was thinking about this, I was throwing this kind of idea out. There's ventilation there, by the way, that's what that is. Ventilation, because it'll get hot in here. Maybe what I was thinking is, maybe putting like a... Oh, bloody hell. Maybe putting like a kind of a casemate here, and maybe some like water ordnance for Senior Assassin. Like maybe I was working on a water ballista kind of thing. I'll make another video on that, maybe post it to Instagram as well. But that would require a second and third person to aim and load it. So that's pretty much the explanation of my project so far. I'm actually gonna start assembling it pretty soon. I'm already gathering the wood pieces, and I have one of the 2 engines. And yeah, it's getting pretty close to reaching its first iteration of production. That'll be really interesting. Thanks for watching. I'm Sam Rashley, and that's been my tank project. Bloody hell.